Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at the book of Proverbs, and we're going to unpack 4 verses within this book. We are going to examine chapters 19 verses 22, chapters 20 verses 5, 24, and 27. And so these verses reveal to us profound truths about our heart, our integrity, and ultimately God's guidance in our life. So whether you're seeking spiritual insight or you're looking for practical wisdom, I hope this video really helps you attain the wisdom that you're looking for, and it gives you the knowledge and the understanding that you're seeking. So if you're unfamiliar with Proverbs, this is a book in the Bible that is part of the Bible's wisdom literature, which include Ecclesiastes and also the book of Job. And the book of Proverbs is attributed to King Solomon, who is David's son, and he reigns after David. What this book does is it helps us navigate the complexities of our lives, and it helps us not only navigate these complex life situations, but it also provides to us guidance on how to do so with integrity and also with purpose. And the 4 verses that we're exploring today, they really weave together a powerful message about what drives us, how to understand ourselves, and ultimately how God shapes our paths in life. So I'm going to break down these 4 verses, and then at the end of this video, I am going to put these verses together or examine them together and how they intermingle with each other to give us a more comprehensive piece of wisdom in this literature rather than just by these specific verses. So the first verse that we're going to look at, or rather the first chapter and verse we're going to look at, is Proverbs chapter 19, verse 22. And this chapter and verse is about love and integrity. And Proverbs 19:22 states this: "What a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar." And, when you think about that at face value, you're like, oh, yes, I agree. What I really want in life is love, is unfailing love. And then you look at the second part of the verse and you're like, better to be poor than a liar, and you might question that. But bear with me here. So the Hebrew word for this unfailing love is called chesed. And at the core, as I said, right, we long for chesed. We long for this unfailing love. And chesed, the term means steadfast, conventional love that endures through life's ups and downs. And so, we don't want a love that is, here today, gone tomorrow, here for your best times only type of thing. We want this steadfast love that is with us at our victories and at our losses. We want a love that is with us at our peak and with us in the valley. So, this kind of love defines true relationships, whether it's with family members, your wife, your children, or whether it's with God. It is a necessity that you need in life, in your relationships. And so as we look at the second part of this verse, right, the second part challenges us, and it says that it's better to be poor than to live a life of dishonesty. And so in this world that we live in, we have a culture that often equates success with wealth and status. And so what this verse does is it requires us to correct our thought by stating that integrity and being truthful and being authentic, these characteristics hold a greater value than any material gain that you can get. And it reminds us that deceit erodes the very love and the trust that we're craving, and the honesty that we need to incorporate in our lives builds the foundations of the lasting connection of this chesed love that we so desire in our life. So as we move away from chapter 19, we go into Proverbs chapter 20, verses 5. And this chapter and verse is about probing your heart. And Proverbs 20, verse 5 says this: the purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. And so our motives and our desires are buried deep in the ocean, right? They are in the Marianas Trench. And oftentimes, they're very complex and very obscure, even from ourselves. And so the word purpose here, or the word purposes here in this passage, suggest deliberate intention. And oftentimes, we don't even know why we're doing what we're doing, right? Our desires and emotions are so complex and they're buried deep within our heart that it is difficult for us to even discern why we're doing these things that we're doing, but we have this desire to do it. And so this verse really underscores the need for insight and how to reveal these intentions in our lives. And so because this verse underscores the need for insight, which is the discernment that is born from wisdom to uncover what lies deep beneath the surface of our facade in our core. We need to self-reflect, and the way to self-reflect is either by journaling or through prayer, or even maybe a trusted confidant, like someone you hold dear that won't lead you astray, that will guide you in the ways that you should actually be going, and help you navigate your life. And so either whether you're getting counsel from somebody or you're self-reflecting or you're praying, this is all wisdom. You'll attain this wisdom that helps navigate the depths of your heart, and it'll bring clarity to you and give you insight of what your true intentions are. And so that really leads us into Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24, which is divine guidance. And so ultimately, from my perspective, if we were to go back to the previous verse, prayer and being in Scripture is going to help provide clarity for your deep heart desires. So Proverbs 20:24 is about divine guidance, and it states this: "A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way?" And so what this verse does is it confronts us with humbling truth, right? So even though we have these plans in our hearts and these desires in our hearts, the person that actually orchestrates our life is God. He orchestrates the trajectory of our lives, and our steps, meaning our choices, our paths, and our outcomes, are ultimately under His divine sovereignty. And so this rhetorical question that is being asked by Solomon challenges our need for control. So because God guides our steps, we may not fully grasp why we're on this journey that we're on, or how we got to be on this journey. And this calls us really to trust in God, to trust in divine providence, and embrace humility in life. And life is so uncertain sometimes and so unclear that the only way through it is with God and just trusting God. And this starts to, you'll see as we move into the next verse, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 27, which is titled God's Illuminating Light. You'll see how God starts to illuminate your life and makes things more certain and makes things more clear in your life. So Proverbs 20:27 declares this: "The human spirit is a lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's innermost being." So here, the human spirit is depicted as a lamp, and it is divinely crafted, it's divinely made, and it's divinely kindled by God Himself. So this lamp that's inside us, our spirit, illuminates our deepest recesses of our heart. So it's going into the deep, as it was said in chapter 19, verse 5. It's going into those deep waters, and it's revealing to us our hidden motives and the truth in our life. And so God uses our spirit to shine this light on who we are, exposing our areas in life where we need growth and highlighting where we are aligned with God. And so it's a reminder for us that, even though we might not even understand our own intentions, God knows our own intentions because he illuminates what's hidden deep within us. And so nothing is hidden from him. He's the divine light that fosters self-awareness within us and accountability within us. And ultimately, he is the one that guides us toward integrity in life. And so as we connect these 4 verses, these 2 chapters, they really do form this profound tapestry of wisdom. And each thread in this tapestry fosters our inner life and God's role within it. So together, they offer this holistic, this unified vision of what it means to live with purpose, what it means to live with integrity, and what it means to live with trust, and not just trust in ourselves, but trust in divine guidance, trust in God himself. So let's examine these verses and how they reveal to us life's complexities and how we navigate through them, right? So in Proverbs 19:22, this really sets the foundation by identifying our deepest longing, our chesed, our unfailing love that we're desiring, and the necessity of integrity to sustain it, to be truthful. And so this love, whether it's human, right, whether it's with your children or your wife, your family, whomever, or whether it's divine, being with God, it is the heartbeat for a meaningful existence. But it requires honesty. And any deceit will fracture the trust that this love depends on. So, right, this verse is calling us to integrity, and this call to integrity resonates with these other verses, as it establishes the moral framework for understanding of our hearts and the paths that we're on. So in Proverbs 20, verse 5, this builds on this by delving into the hidden nature of our motives, our hearts, our deep waters, right? The concealing intentions that even we may not fully grasp. This verse introduces the need for insight, whether it's through self-examination or by the wisdom of others or through prayer. It is what helps us to align our desires with the integrity and love that was mentioned in chapter 19, verse 22. This chesed, right? So it suggests that the purpose of unfailing love requires this clarity about what drives us, a clarity that often demands patience and discernment. And so as we examine Proverbs 20:24, this shifts our perspective outward, reminding us that our life's path is not entirely our own, right? God is guiding our steps. He directs our steps. He's weaving our choices and our circumstances into a larger divine purpose that we likely don't understand or we have a limited understanding of. And so this verse connects back to chapters 19:22 and 20, verse 5, by framing our desires and our motives within God's sovereign plan. So the love that we're seeking and the motives we uncover are not isolated. They're unfolded under divine guidance. Even when we can't see the full picture, it invites humility into our lives, and we recognize that our understanding, right, as I was just saying, our understanding is limited compared to God's overarching design. And so as we go into this last verse, Proverbs 20, verse 27, it really completes the picture by revealing God's intimate involvement in our lives. So our spirit, as we had said, right, is the lamp of the Lord, and it illuminates our innermost being, and it exposes the truths that align with this unfailing love that we are seeking, and the insights we're getting from our desires and our motives. And it's revealing that we need to trust in divine providence. We need to trust in the Lord. So this divine light not only reveals our motives, but it also guides us towards the love and the purpose that we're craving. And it ensures that our pursuit is in love and it's rooted in authenticity. So the collective message, right, is this: that our hearts yearn for love, but that love demands integrity. And our motives are complex and they require wisdom to uncover. And our paths are guided by God, calling for trust in His plan. Our spirits, they're kindled by God's light, revealing who we are, and they're fostering self-awareness and accountability within us. So this wisdom that we've gained challenges us to live intentionally, aligning our desires with truth, with seeking discernment, with surrendering control, and ultimately embracing God's plan in our life. So in a world where we are surrounded by this noise and distraction, these verses really call us to live a life of depth, where love and wisdom and trust, shape a purposeful existence rather than just this material things that often everyone else seeks. So guys, that's it. I hope that, what I've provided to you was helpful, that you maybe acquired some wisdom or got some knowledge, or now you have this understanding in your life. Ultimately, I made this video, but ultimately these are the words of God in Proverbs, and it's God illuminating your life and building a purpose-driven life for you and guiding you in the way that you should go. If you haven't read Proverbs before, I hope that you go and read it. It is one of my favorite books in the Bible. It helps me a lot in my daily life. And out of the wisdom literature series, it is my favorite. Job is great. It is a bit depressing. And Ecclesiastes is very cynical. And I like the black and white of Proverbs. It resonates with me. I know that, doing A doesn't always guarantee B. But for me, I like, the black and white of things. And so that's why I think I gravitate towards it. But anyways, if you like this content, please subscribe, give me a like, and definitely more to come in the future. I wish you all a very blessed day. God bless.